Why I always gotta do it. Oh my goodness. Alright, y'all ready to get this thing started? Yeah! Alright, Jumpstart Sunday. We're gonna rock it today. We're gonna have some special guests. Parker, who is back. Nice to have him back. And also want to welcome Bill back today.
This is also audience participation day.
For the newbies around here, there is a New Beginnings theme song, so we thought we'd rock out with it this morning. So when I say hi, what do you guys say?
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah!
I said hi and you say hallelujah. With the bread God gives us and the voice He designed for you.
All right, let's do it. Once I thought I was a star. You saw stars in my future long. But common ladders just made me. I saw stars. I loved to abuse my body. Couldn't correct my thinking. Poison in my mind with the drinking. Looking in the dark for a new start. Then I walked into these rooms so long, God's children singing. I said hi and you said hallelujah. With the bread God gives us and the voice He designed for you. Hello, good morning, you said. You're not dreaming, I was asleep for quite a while. And we'll go to a new beginning. Oh, 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 oh. Sing louder, sing louder. Oh, 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 sing louder. Once I thought I was invincible. Once I thought I was infallible. But never saw myself as powerful. Then I found you. With the help of the Almighty and the servants providing, there's no more deciding, no more wavering in you. 'Cause I walked into these rooms so long, God's children singing. I said hi and you said hallelujah. With the bread God gives us and the voice He designed for you. Hello,
not fired.
Free bird.
That'll work.
Arrange it like we did earlier, kind
All right,
Which
yeah.
time?
We'll make this work. I love this song. Another song written by Joel Houston. Great praise songwriter. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I am, down on my knees again, surrendering all, surrendering all. I need, Lord, as you draw me near, desperate for you. Desperate for you, I surrender. I surrender. Drench my soul as mercy and grace unfold. I hunger and thirst. I hunger and thirst. With arms stretched wide, I know you hear my cry. Speak to me now. Speak to me now. I surrender. I surrender. I want to know you more. I want to know you more. I surrender. I surrender. I want to know you more. I want to know you more.
Something like that. Thank you guys. You ready?
There you go, Parker.
Get it, Parker! Woo!
Hey, Parker!
Woo!
Go, Parker! Right
there!
there!
Pleasure to be back with you guys.
Back here, brother. Good job, Jenny. Thank you.
Is it on now?
It's on.
Good job. Good job. Yeah. Wowee! Man. You know, it's fun to have fun, isn't it? Doesn't it just do something to your heart and your soul just to have a good time? It's awesome. We have so many talented men and women here. Thank you, Parker and Kyle and David too. Oh, wow. Of course, John and Sylvia and Scotty and Anthony. Thank you. Good job. Nice work. It is possible to have fun and be sober. Right, Parker? Yes. All right. All right. Thank you for those of you that went and did Google reviews. I really appreciate it. It's not too late. If you have any knowledge about New Beginnings Recovery Center and or Mary's Hope Sober Home, go and do a Google review. It helps us, but it also helps people that are researching for treatment centers and sober living to hear from the people who have actually experienced it. So please do that. We have a lot to cover this morning. Is Jamie here? Jamie Harrison, raise your hand once, twice. No, she's not. All right. Okay. Monica, is Monica here? Monica, Scott Eisman, Sam Lamberson, come up here. Yeah! Up here every week. What's that about? I don't know. Oh yeah, surrendering. Yeah. So these three people are celebrating or have already celebrated 1 year. All right. So they are all three of these lovely people are proud graduates of New Beginnings Recovery Center. So you can do this thing called recovery. And they're having fun doing it. As you know, Sam used to also work here. And so they're going to get our eagle coin today because eagles fly above and beyond, and that's what they're doing. So congratulations. Awesome job. A couple of weeks ago, those of you that were here know that Billy celebrated 3 years. He's also I failed to have our coin ready for him, so Billy, come up and get your coin. I apologize that we are delayed. Renewal and growth. God has renewed you, and you have taken hold of it, and you continue to grow. Thank you for everything.
Amen. Thank you.
Yes. All right, we have a celebrity in the room.
What?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we do.
I'm over here.
We do. We have a celebrity in our midst right here today. An author. Yes. A published book.
Poet?
And hopefully, you know, we're going to maybe try to get together and sell some of these books and have them personally autographed for you, because one day they are going to be worth a lot of money. All right? So here it is. Dark Alleys and Born Again Moments. Now, can anybody guess who the famous person is? Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, what I should have asked you before I made this announcement, but you didn't know I was going to do this. What is the price of this book? For those who
I think it's $26.95.
$26.95. I have to just say, you ought to buy one, and then we are going to set a time with your permission that where you will have an autograph session here,
Certainly.
maybe next Sunday. I don't know. We'll talk.
All right,
Whatever you
yeah.
But you should read this book. It is not just a book of poetry, but it's got personal pictures in it. If you want to see Fred in his younger days when he was like working out, wow, that's worth the $26. Yeah. Huh, Priscilla? Huh?
Mary, the book is having one more page put in it, so it's not going to be available for large numbers
Okay.
for probably 1 to 2 more months.
Okay. All right.
So,
Good to know.
If and when the time comes, I'll be honored to sign it.
We would like you to. He's already autographed mine, so that's all I need. Whatever.
She's got the original edition.
All righty. Change your thinking and change your life. So when the music was going on, I stood over here and I looked across the room at how many people are here and how many people have had bad things happen in their life. And how many people go, why is it that bad things always happen to me? Why is that? Why is it that I can't ever seem to get my life on track? And as I looked across the crowd and I was looking at you, and I felt my heart well up because there are so many hurting people in this room today. And it just brings this, I feel it within my spirit. And I know that there are hurts in this room today. I know there's people in this room today that are trying to move your life forward, and you just don't understand. You don't understand why all of this stuff keeps happening to you. And I don't know what your personal stuff necessarily is, but I do know that we all experience circumstances in our life that just don't seem to be fair, does it? I mean, it just doesn't seem to be right. After all, look at everything I'm doing. After all, look at how I'm trying to help other people. You know, and why do these bad things keep happening to me, to us? It doesn't make sense. But I tell you that sometimes we need to make some changes. And I know that we're all trying to make some changes, but I think that we need to learn how to change our thinking. Everything starts with a thought. Everything. You being here today, whether you want to be here today or not, started with a thought. You got up this morning and you said, well, today I got to go to church. I got to go to Jumpstart. I'm here today. And it started with your thinking. You know, I have a couple of people in the room today that don't always come. And I see them here today. And I was pleased to see them today. Why? Because I love them and I like seeing them. But I know that today's a special day because God has a word for you today. And it's a good word. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17 says, therefore. Now what happens when we see that word in Scripture, therefore? What?
Rethink.
What? What? Chris goes, what is it there for? All right, so there. Did everybody learn? Therefore, what is it there for? If anyone is in Christ, that is grafted in, joined to him by faith in him as Savior, he is a new creature, reborn and renewed by the Holy Spirit. The old things, your old things, the previous moral and spiritual condition have passed away. Behold, new things have come, because spiritual awakening brings new life. You want to change your life? We got to do some changes. We got to change our thinking. We've got to change what we are doing. It is possible to change. It is more than possible to change. We can do it.
Yes.
We can do this thing called recovery, called life, called moving our life forward, called change. You know, every end of the year, every December, we all go, well, thank God that year's done. Now I get to try all over again. Now, this new year is going to be a new beginning. And so that's how we look at it. The old is back there behind us, and now we get to start all over. It's like this. It's like playing a game of golf, right? Everybody knows I love golf. All right, so you're on the golf course. The front nine is a disaster. You are so upset. You can't do anything right. You're doubling everything. Your score is off track. It isn't working for you, right, Rusty?
Yep.
You've been there, right?
Amen.
Yes, amen. He's been there. But you get through with the first 9 holes, and you're going, oh, I get to try again. Surely I can improve my score on the back 9, right? And so we get all motivated to improve our score on the back 9. And I'm telling you right now, life is not much different than that. We're on the front 9, but we've done up to this point of our life, but guess what? We can improve the back half of our lives just by kind of changing the way we're thinking, by doing some new stuff. Now, have you ever bought a new pair of shoes? And I tell you what, those new pair of shoes are hot. They look good on you. Ladies, you know what I mean, and me, you know too. You know, you got a good pair of shoes on there right now. I like those. Look at these boots. I like those. But when you put a new pair of shoes on, they kind of hurt your feet. You suffer through it anyway. You wear them anyway until they're broken in, right? We got to break some stuff in, don't we? I have a good example of this. I want to show you this. This is so cute. Let me just show you. If you need to move around to see it, it is so funny. Oh, how Don't worry about it. Now, a lot of you say, oh, poor dog, but you laughed anyway, didn't you? Yeah. But sometimes that's how we are with life problems, isn't it? Yes. We can see ourselves looking like that. It's all new. It's weird feeling. We don't know what we're doing, and we're kicking up our heels like the dog there did. And it's hard. Life can be hard, but it's not impossible to do to move our life forward. In Romans 12:2, it says this: "Be not conformed to the pattern of this world, but let God transform you to a new person by changing the way you think." He says, renew your mind. You know, God is far more interested in you, in your mind, in what you are doing with yourself than in your circumstances. Listen, we all have circumstances that we face every day that are tough. They're challenging to us. We don't know for sure what we're going to do. Lots of times the circumstances that come to us also bring fear to us, and we don't know how to handle it. But God is more interested in you. He's more interested in your mind. He's more interested in what you are going to do with your mind. You know, it's one thing to read the Word of God and see that we should forgive other people. But do we really do that? Do we see the word forgiveness and we just kind of shudder and go, ugh, I don't want to forgive that person? You don't know what that person did to me? How many times do you look at the word forgiveness and think, well, I should forgive myself. I need to forgive me for the things that I've done. I need to forgive me for the things that I've done and caused other people in their life. But we might do it for a little bit, but we don't stick with it. We don't stick with forgiveness. We don't stick with the renewal of our mind. Our thoughts must begin to change if we truly want to live a different life. Your thoughts control your life. Every action begins with a thought. If you don't think it, you don't do it. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Proverbs 4 says this, "My son, give attention to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your sight. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to all of their body. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life." Listen, don't act on false information. You know, we all hear things. We all hear things about somebody else. We all hear things about even ourselves. People will come and they'll go, "Well, did you hear that so-and-so said that, they don't think you're going to make it? Have you heard what so-and-so said about you?" I mean, we all have those things where people are just talking about each other. They're talking about us. Don't act on false information. Is that information true? Probably 99% of the time it probably is not even true. There's always more to the story. And yet we take a story, whether it's coming to us about ourselves or about somebody else, and we act on it and we take it as the truth. And most of the time, ladies, and most of the time it is not. It's not true. Don't act on false information. We need to learn how to manage our minds, because your mind is the battleground of sin and temptation. All temptation starts up here with a thought. Worry, resentment, fear, it all starts right in your mind. Romans 7:21 says this, and this is from Paul. He said, "It seems to be a fact of life that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love to do God's will so far as my new nature is concerned, but there is something else deep within me, in my lower nature, my old nature, that is at war with my mind and wins the fight and makes me a slave to the sin that is still within me. In my mind, I want to do God's willing servant, but instead I find myself still enslaved to sin." So you see how it is? My new life tells me to do right, but the old nature that is still inside of me loves to sin. Oh, what a terrible predicament I'm in. Who will free me from my slavery to this deadly lower nature? Thank God it has been done by Jesus Christ our Lord. He has set me free. Amen. Your mind is the greatest asset that you have. Your mind is the greatest asset you have. That's why Satan wants your mind. Why do you think he wants you to use mind-altering substances? He wants your mind. He knows if he can get your mind, he can get your life. The mind is the key to your life and to happiness. An unmanaged mind leads to tension. A managed mind leads to tranquility and peace. An unmanaged mind leads to stress. A managed mind leads to strength and to security. We can manage our mind, and we can do it just like we would manage a business, just like we would manage a family. We are able to control our minds. Romans 8:6 says, "For the mind set on the flesh is death, but the mind set on the spirit is life and peace. Because the mind set on the flesh is hostile toward God, for it does not subject itself to the law of God, for it is not even able to do so. For those who are in the flesh cannot please God." You know, we should read the entire chapter of Romans 8 because it is the deliverance from bondage chapter. If you read that and meditate on it, if you feel like you are in bondage, that will set yourself free. And you can control your thoughts. Satan cannot control your thoughts. He can only throw suggestions to you. He can only throw suggestions, and he does that through other people. He does it through yourself, and he does it through television. He does it through music. He can only throw suggestion, and God cannot control your thought life. He did not make us as little robots down here, and that he can just run and tell what to do. He gave us the power and authority to control our own thought life. What we need to do is take the remote control and change the channel. When you start thinking something that you know you shouldn't be thinking, you take that remote control and change the channel. I'd have to wrestle my husband for the remote control though, because he's the only one that knows how to operate it. I can't ever use it much at all because always got it. He's got 4 different remote controls at home, and he doesn't know how any of them work. But God forbid I should have the remote, because that would not ever work. I go for it. When he leaves to go do something, that's the first thing I do is I go find the remote control, and then I try to figure out if I know how to make it work.
Screws everything up and now it's all what?
Listen, we need to feed our minds. We feed our body with fuel. We need to feed our minds with the truth. Stop feeding your minds full of junk. Stop feeding your mind with negative information. Stop feeding your mind with stupid controversies. Stop feeding your mind with things that will not help it to grow. Stop feeding your mind with a lie. Stop feeding your mind with things that will make you form negative habits. Negative habits. Stop polluting your mind with wrong things, watching the wrong things on TV, feeding your mind full of pornography, or feeding your mind full of the wrong kinds of television. You need to start feeding your mind with the truth. You should come up with a list of truths that you can read every single day about who you are. The truth is, I am made in the very image of God, and I am beautiful. The truth is, I have hope for tomorrow because I love God. The truth is that I am an overcomer. The truth is that I am set free of addiction. You should make yourself a list, and you should read that every single day and night. You become a prisoner of your own thoughts, and we need to be set free, and the only way we can be set free is by the truth of God's Word. And you say, well, that's a lot of work. I got to tell you, it is a little bit of work. It's not that terribly hard to do, but it takes a little bit of effort. You can either put effort into living, or you're going to put effort into dying. We need to get rid of our old nature. We have 3 enemies. Enemy number 1 is our old nature. Just like Paul said, he doesn't understand why he keeps doing the same dumb things that he did. So our old nature is our enemy, and we need to overcome that, and we need to find our new nature. Satan is enemy number 2, and he wants to control your mind so that he sends these ideas and these wrong thinking to your mind. And in Ephesians 6:16 it says, in addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Those arrows are thoughts that he's flinging into your mind to make you feel bad about who you are. And don't believe everything that you think. Most of what we think is garbage. And you've got to stop believing every little thing that runs through your mind. And enemy number 3 is the world. These world value systems, the culture that we live in, the world is not helping anyone be a disciplined, right person. We listen to things on TV like, do it your way. Oh, you can have it your way. The things, those little slogans they come up with on TV, on the commercials are you can quench your thirst today. You deserve a break today. And it gets us to thinking, yes, I do deserve a break today. I want a break today. And so we go out and we do something stupid on the break that we have today. The world and their value system is not our friend. No one is encouraging you to live a responsible, healthy life when you are watching all that garbage on TV. In fact, in 1 John 2, it says, stop loving this evil world and all that it offers you. For when you love these things, you show that you do not really love God. For all of these worldly things, these evil desires, the craze for sex, the ambition to buy everything that appeals to you, and the pride that comes from wealth and importance, these are not from God. They are from the evil world itself, and this world is fading away, and these evil, forbidden things will go with it. But whoever keeps doing the will of God will live forever. So we need to come up with a new way to change our life and to change our thinking. We need to start walking in the Spirit and get out of our flesh. You know, he's talking about this mental battle that we have in our life. And we have spiritual strongholds. Whenever you believe a lie about yourself or about somebody else, that is a spiritual stronghold. And we need to fight against that, and we need to bring into captivity every thought. And that means every thought. It means to control your mind, to control your thinking. You know, the lie might be that God doesn't love you, and that's a lie. He does love you. It might be that you know better to do what with your life than what he does. That's a lie. It might be that there is no God. That's a lie. It might be that I will never change. That's a lie. Anything that I believe that is a lie is a spiritual stronghold. It's like heathenism. The only thing I believe in is me. That's a lie. That's wrong thinking. That is a spiritual stronghold, and we need to get rid of that. So what do? We need to take captive. We need to conquer every thought and bring it in control of what God says we are. Listen, I met with a guy this last week. He's a young guy. I don't know if I'd venture to say, I bet maybe he might be 40, but probably not even that old. And he has just started his own business. He does construction. And we got to talking, and he's a retired vet. And I was showing him our low energy neurofeedback because, you know, we'd like to start serving more vets here with it. They all have PTSD and things like that. And so I got to talking to him about that. And he said, you know, one thing, a big thing that I learned in the service is that I have to control my thinking. And I was so intrigued when he said that, because that's what I believe too. And he said, I've learned how to be structured, how to control my thought life. He said, now I can let my thoughts run all over the place and go anywhere, but I've learned how to take control over what I think. And he said, I think about who I am and who I'm going to be. I think about being successful in my life, with my family, with my children. I think about having a successful business. I think about all of those good, successful thoughts. I do not think about where I am not. I don't tell myself where I'm not. Well, I don't have as much as Joe Blow. I don't do that. I think about what I have. I think about the success where I'm at. I think about the success I'm going to get tomorrow. And do you know this guy is like huge successful? I mean, he's figured this out. And that's what we need to figure out. We've got to change the way that we are thinking. Listen, if you have a dream, you should. I hope you all have a dream. Would you do me a favor and go grab the water off of my desk?
There's one right there.
Oh, there's one right here, Chris. I forgot that I brought it in. Never mind. Listen, if you have a dream, you need to change that dream into a goal. Then you can change that goal into reality. Change your dreams into a goal and then change it into reality. I read a letter that a young lady from here wrote to herself. How many of you have written a letter to yourself? A few. You got to write a letter to yourself. This young lady wrote a letter to herself, and I read it, and this is just excerpts from it, but I got to tell you, it really, really moved me a lot. And it starts like this. It says, Dear so-and-so, put your name in there. Dear me, I'm writing to you to let you know how much I love you, but to also let you know that I am concerned about the way you view yourself. Others see so much more in you, I am terribly afraid that if you do not change your thoughts and views of yourself, that recovery could be very short-lived. You need to understand that when God created you, He created something wonderful. When you allow yourself to be yourself, you are kind, loving, compassionate, and giving. Though these are all great qualities, you will need to learn how to guard your heart. You have to accept that life is about changes and seasons and that nothing stays the same. Everything in this world is temporary, and I am telling you to fear not, because God will keep someone in your life. Stop fighting against yourself. You are worth so much more than you think. If you're not willing to let go of past hurts, places, and people, you're going to die. The past is just that. While you have held on to wrongs done to you and have lost countless nights of sleep, the rest of the world and the ones that have made you your offenses have moved on. Let it go. Now, I beg you to love and accept who your Father has called you to be. Stop being so hard on yourself. Say to yourself on a daily basis that you love yourself. I forgive you for not being the mother you intended or wanted to be. I forgive you for giving up on yourself. I forgive you for walking away from every opportunity that has ever been laid before you. I am thankful to you that you actually started fighting to stay alive and that you did not give up. You are capable. You can change. You can say no. Wow. This is what we need to be doing. We need to write down the truths about us of who we are, who God created us to be, and stop listening to that negative mind that keeps telling you who you are not. It wasn't that many years ago that I felt like a complete and total failure. Total failure. I was meek, I was pitiful, I was introverted, I was full of fear, I was shy, I was withdrawn, I was timid, I was pathetic. Not too many years ago, life sucked. I wasn't happy. I was looking for love in all of the wrong places. I wanted anybody, pick up with anybody, all the losers, anybody that could make me feel different, make me feel better. I wanted somebody else to do the work. I wanted somebody else to make me feel different, somebody else to make me feel better. I wanted them to do the work. Listen, I went through all kinds of wrong directions in my life. I made all kinds of wrong choices in my life, wrong decisions in my life. I laid around in bed at night thinking all wrong kinds of thinking. If I had a bad day, here's what I would do. I would lay around in bed at night and think of a way to kill myself. I was fed up with life. I didn't want to live it anymore. And many of you in this room feel that way too. You're so sick and tired of being sick and tired. You lay around and you go, well, if I could just get out of this world, Then you start thinking, well, gosh, if I really were to think about doing that, how would I go about doing it? I mean, I had a plan. I had a plan of what I was going to do to oust myself. And then all of a sudden I'd click like that and go, well, I can't do that. I have children. I can't kill myself. I got kids to raise. I tell you, I probably would have killed myself if I didn't have kids to raise, and I know many of you feel the same way in this room today. And it starts with a thought. We think that our lives are terrible. We think that our lives are going nowhere. We think just because we might have lost a job that our life is over because of a stupid job. We think that our life is over because we've disappointed our parents one more time. We think our life is over because we've disappointed our children one more time. We think that we don't have anything to give, anything to offer, anything to move our life forward. We have stinking thinking, ladies and gentlemen. And if we lay around and continue to think about poor me, Where am I going? Why can't I get up in the morning and I go look in the mirror and I go, God, you're so fat. You're just so fat, and look at how ugly you are. You're just ugly. We go to bed at night and we think about all of our problems the day we've had. And that's what we do. In the morning, Satan gives us bad news. At night, he gives us bad news. And we tell ourselves these things. That's what we do, and we've got to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to learn a new way, a better way. You can do it. I can do it. We can tell ourselves something different. We can train our minds. We don't have to lay in bed and think about killing ourselves. That thought comes to your mind, you take it right now. You grab a hold of it right now and you say, no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to live and I am going to serve and I'm going to be somebody. And then if you don't know how to be somebody, you hook up with somebody that can help you be somebody. You hook up. That's why we have each other. That's why it is so important for you to have a sponsor. Because when you get in that mindset of feeling like you're not going anywhere, you get in front of somebody that can help snap you out of that instantly. You do not lay in a dark room and, pull the covers up over your head and go, no, you make yourself. You make yourself go to a different direction. You make yourself think a different way. You write some positive things down because you will forget. You will forget what I'm telling you. You will forget. But if you have a notebook and you open it up and you go, oh, that's right. This is who I really am. I remember that Mary said Satan brings bad thoughts to our life. This is from him. I can take control over my thinking. I don't have to make plans to kill myself anymore because I've got this list. This is who I am. And if you don't believe who you are, then you get your sponsor. You call us and we will help tell you who you are. We will help tell you that you can change. You can have a better life than what you have today. Yes. We all want to change. Heck, I want to change too. We can do it together. And what gets me is there's so many people, even in this room, that you don't even feel like you have anybody. Look around you. Look at each other. Look at the person sitting next to you. You have a family here. You are not alone. You are not on an island all by yourself out there. You have people that care and love for you. Now come on. Come on. We need to change our thinking. You've got to change the way you feel about yourself. You've got to change your thinking. That's where it will start. I know there's people in this room that are lonely today. I get it. Heck, I was lonely, but you know what? I'd rather be lonely than have to hook up with somebody that is going to pollute my life.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Woo. Loneliness is better.
Say it again.
I mean, with Jesus.
And listen, you don't even have to be lonely. I mean, if you see all the people in this room today, surely there's one person that you can relate to that can be your friend, so you don't have to be lonely. Call somebody. Take somebody to the movies. I mean, I know it's expensive, but you can go, I think, to the Elvis movie theater for $5.
Oh, yeah. Less than that.
Get out of yourself. Now listen, it's uncomfortable. When you first start to change your life, it is uncomfortable. You don't recognize it. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what direction you're going to go. It feels uncomfortable. I am asking you, just stay with it. Just fake it until you make it. Just hang in there. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it will feel bad. It'll feel uncomfortable. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Don't go backwards.
Wait for the breakthrough.
Everything that is a change in our life feels uncomfortable. But if it's a good change, keep doing it. You'll get into a new habit. Get rid of your old habits. Get into a new habit. You can do it. You can make good changes for your life. And if you need some counseling and help, come and see me. I don't have all the answers, but I sure would be happy to help you. Chris will help you. Shay will help you. Fred will help you. Priscilla will help you. And we all need change in our life. So today, what are you going to do? You're going to manage your mind, right?
Yes.
You're going to take every thought captive. You're not going to believe everything that you have in your head, because half of that junk is just what it is. Half of what's in here is just junk. You don't have to take it. You don't even have to believe it. But if you start thinking a new way, you will change your life. I'm proof of it. I believe it. That doesn't mean I don't have problems, because I do. Every day there's somebody going, well, they're going to sue me. Well, you know, good luck, you know. But you can't get blood out of a turnip, right? So whatever. Just let it roll off your back, you know, and that's what you do. So I love you today. I want you to be successful today. I want you to learn a better way today. Okay? Who has a prayer request? Yes.
I want to pray or willingness. I have somebody very close. I want to come in.
Okay.
And it's just, I don't know what it is. It's talking, but I think if we pray,
Okay. Is that still the